Hi friends, welcome to my YouTube channel SS Analysis. First of all, I would like to tell you that if you are watching this video first time, subscribe my channel to see my more upcoming videos on analysis of different commodities and equity indices. And second important thing is to watch this video till its end to understand this story to take your decision. Your one like will motivate me to be regular in working more hard for you. Let us start the day to analyze the movements of S&P 500 futures in different time frames. Friends, here you can see a daily chart of S&P 500 futures where I find that the S&P 500 futures have started a breakout since January 8, 2020 when the S&P 500 futures touched the lows of 3189. From here you can see that the S&P 500 futures started to take a sharp steep upward move which continued till January 17, 2020. Here you can see that on last Friday most of the global equity markets cheered the phase 1 trade deal. There is no doubt that this step was taken by the US and the China to end an 18-month long tariff trade which was eminent enough to extend bullish sentiments in global equity markets. But I find that the S&P 500 futures ended the week with small gains after facing stiff resistance at the levels of 3330 where they faced a stiff resistance here. Now I find that the phase 1 deal between the US and the China looks evident enough to evolve a plethora of new controversies as current tariff on China has been left as it is. Secondly, the quantities of Chinese purchase of US products have not still been fixed, especially at the time when the China prefers to promote its own industry. On one hand, I find that this phase 1 deal has left many controversial issues unresolved which may pave the way to generate new contradiction in futures. Now I find that the current steep upward move in S&P 500 futures in a daily time frame looks evident enough to face extended exhaustion during the upcoming week, where I find that a downward move below the levels of 3298 in a daily time frame will confirm the continuity of a downward trend in S&P 500 futures, where I find that the S&P 500 futures will have to defend the levels of 3275, where we may see a bounce back from these levels in S&P 500 futures. But I find that once the S&P 500 futures break this level, we will see the S&P 500 futures to witness bouts of selling from the levels of 3302, where I find the S&P 500 futures will continue to face stiff resistance. If the S&P 500 futures breach this level during the upcoming week, we will see the S&P 500 futures will find stiff resistance after coming downward. And no doubt that if the S&P 500 futures break the levels of 3276, I find downward move in S&P 500 futures may continue up to the levels of 3184, where an important support level the S&P 500 futures have, where they may found some strong support at the levels of 3184. So friends, here I find that any upward move in S&P 500 futures above the levels of 3332 will provide a good opportunity to go short in S&P 500 futures with a stop loss at 3355, where I find that the S&P 500 futures may take a sharp downward move if they are not able to break this immediate resistance where they face stiff resistance on last Friday, because here I find that the steady gold futures look evident enough to show the going uncertainty in global equity markets, where I find that this phase 1 deal looks evident enough to extend more bearish pressure in global equity markets during the upcoming week. Let us have a look at the movements of gold futures. Here you can see the movements of gold futures in a daily time frame, where you can see that the gold futures have been maintaining a strong momentum in gold futures, where I find that they continue to defend the levels of $1555, where I find that the gold futures look ready to take a sharp upward move once they sustain above the levels of $1568. I find the gold futures may test the levels of $1608 once again during the upcoming week. Here I find that the gold futures have been constantly maintaining an unusual correlation with S&P 500 futures. So friends, here I would like to show you that the gold futures have been constantly maintaining an unusual correlation with S&P 500 futures. Friends, here you can see that how the gold futures have been maintaining a strong position along with the strength in S&P 500 futures. Here you can see that this unusual correlation between the gold futures and the S&P 500 futures looks evident enough to show the growing uncertainty in global equity markets. Here I find that the gold futures may take a sharp upward move, whereas the S&P 500 futures may take a downward move very shortly, just to maintain normal correlation between the gold and the S&P 500 futures. I find that this is the level where the gold futures may take a sharp upward move. Once they sustain above this level, I find that the gold futures will maintain this uptrend during the upcoming week. So friends, I find that this unusual correlation between the gold futures and the S&P 500 futures look evident enough to show the growing uncertainty in global equity markets, which may extend the exhaustion in S&P 500 futures during the upcoming week. On the other hand, here you can see the movements of WTI crude oil futures in a daily time frame, where I find that the WTI crude oil futures have been constantly maintaining above the levels of $58, where I find that this momentum may continue in WTI crude oil futures, where the WTI crude oil futures may take a sharp upward move up to the levels of $62 during the upcoming week, which may extend bearish pressure in global equity markets, because the costly crude will put more pressure on global economies, where I find that a strong upward move in WTI crude oil futures above the levels of $62.72 will confirm the continuity of an uptrend in WTI crude oil futures, where the S&P 500 futures may see an extended exhaustion during the upcoming week. So friends, if you like this video, don't forget to share this video with your more and more friends. Thank you.